Welcome back, Trailblazers. If you're new here, I'm Alicia. Today I'm hanging out with Jonathan Simos, and we are talking all about helping you to integrate fitness into your life through efficient and effective training. Jonathan, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Alicia.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Kick us off. Tell us a little bit more about who you are and who you help.
Definitely. I am a master trainer and hybrid athlete, and my focus is helping those beginners make an easier transition into a healthier lifestyle, and also busy professionals who want to integrate fitness effectively and efficiently into their busy lifestyles.
Fantastic. Well, what led you here? What made you get started in this line of work?
I started working out at a young age, and I'll explain how I found my passion. I didn't have a personal trainer. I couldn't afford a personal trainer, so I had to learn through trial and error. And so I would literally ask strangers at the gym after I saw them perform an exercise. I would be like, "Excuse me, what is that exercise? What does that do?" So I'd get feedback from those around me, and then I'd go home and research online, whatever I could find. And at that time, it was kind of limited. The internet was kind of new. So limited information. So bottom line, I had good progress, but I developed imbalances and injuries and learned there's a right way and a wrong way to exercise. So then I began to pursue the credentials as a trainer to fix myself. And so through my struggles, as I fixed my imbalances, I found my passion for empowering others with fitness education on how to work out properly and most effectively.
Yeah. All right. Give us all the secrets. How do we do this in an effective and efficient way and avoid getting hurt? Because it sounds like you did have to take kind of the long road around.
Definitely. And yes, it was an experience. I got iliotibial band syndrome, all the syndromes to sum it up. And there's common distortion patterns that most people have. So anyways, to exercise properly, you can simplify things. So the body only does a series of movements. It only does a horizontal push, which would be, chest, a horizontal pull, which would be generally back, a vertical push, which would be more shoulders, triceps, a vertical pull, which will be lats, the biggest muscle on your back. Your core does a flexion, a rotation, an anti-rotation, and then an extension. And then your hips is either hip dominant or knee dominant. And so you can break it into exercises. So you can literally go in there, you can do full body, 2 sets is sufficient, 15 reps. Of course, you want to change the rep range. That's what the body adapts the quickest to. Mm-hmm. But starting out, you can start with high reps. So you can get in there, you can do a cable chest press, 15 reps. Then right into that same arm, cable row, 15 reps. You can do the other arm superset back to back. Then you can do overhead press, 15 reps, lat pull down, 15 reps, back to back. So you can superset opposing muscle groups. And so you can really pair things together, or you can do 2 or 3 exercises in a round, 2 or 3 rounds, onto the next group. So there's many ways to just make it really efficient.
Yeah, that makes sense too. Like you're doing those opposing movements.
Yes.
Do you have certain people that you like to work with on this? Because, and bear with me for a second, I know a lot of women, they think that treadmills are like the way to go when they go to the gym. So is this something that you encourage for men and women?
Oh yeah, everybody needs weight training, honestly. And the cardio side, everyone also needs, but honestly, weight training is the way to go. It's the only thing that really changes body composition, makes your bones denser, all the benefits. So I don't think anyone should start with the treadmill unless that's their focus. Unless they're trying to focus on getting faster, you want to start with what you want to focus on. I would recommend starting with the weights and then cardio after, or eat something, then cardio, or cardio hours later, or cardio separate day, but you're not starting with cardio.
I figured that would be your answer, and I definitely appreciate that. So tell me a little bit about what we need to know about getting started, because I think a lot of people, the starting is the sticking place.
Yes, and I can simplify it for sure. So there's fundamentals. So you want to learn the movement patterns. And so once you learn the movement patterns, then you can go to the gym and do basic workouts. You don't want to do the same muscle groups every day, but you can full body 3 times a week, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, with some recovery in between. Simple routine, like you go in there, you do a hip hinge, like a Romanian deadlift. You can do throw in something that's more knee dominant, like a squat, or even leg press to make it simple. Then move on to a dumbbell chest press and dumbbell row, like I was saying, back to back for 2 sets, onto an overhead press and for 2 sets, and then something for core, maybe rotation, a cable rotation, and that could be it. And if you have a lot of energy, you could even throw in something else as well for core, or something more functional that's full body. So you just want to get those general movements, but you don't want to always start with the same exercise, because you get the best training effects early on. So and also not all exercises are created equal. So you don't want to start with curls or, smaller muscle groups that don't have as much training effect. So to simplify that, you would want to generally start with, if you're doing full body, with legs or bigger muscle groups, but not always the same, exercise within that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And I think that's such a good point. I think a lot of us, like, we get into our habits, like we're like, well, I just do the same thing every time. So not doing the same thing every time in the same order is what you're telling me.
Yeah, generally speaking. So of course,
Okay.
only with the major exercises you want to start with. So you don't want to rotate and start with arms or start with,
Right.
I mean, like, you don't want to always start with, let's say, if you're doing a split, like a push-pull leg split, and you're doing your push day, you don't want to always start with chest. Some weeks you want to start with shoulders.
Right.
And then even with that split, you don't want to always start with your push day. You can start with your pull day 1 week, your push day 1 week, your leg day 1 week. So you want to vary it.
Okay.
But more importantly, the rep ranges is what the body adapts quickest to. So you want to vary the rep ranges.
Interesting. So when you're working with a client, do you notice like a specific challenge that you see them facing when they're getting started?
Yeah, I'd say more mindset, also not knowing their limits. So it takes a little while to learn their current limits, and then to learn how to push past them and realize they're much more capable than they think they are.
Mm-hmm.
So choosing appropriate weights for the rep ranges. A lot of times someone thinks it's too heavy, and then I'll give them more weight and they do the same 15 reps. And it's like, that first set wasn't heavy.
Right.
I give them significantly heavier and they do the same reps. So it's finding that proper weight.
Very interesting.
Yes.
What's been a really proud moment for you in doing this work? Do you have a story that you can share with us?
Definitely. I would say generally seeing transformations, seeing people get more functional and get all the benefits associated with working out, some mental benefits. But I was working with this older gentleman and he didn't have a lot of functionality. He kind of like shuffled a little bit, and we really took our time. And he got significantly stronger and was able to walk much easier and get up and down on the floor and up off the floor much easier. So his quality of life really improved just from weight training. Yeah. So that was very inspiring to see.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, the life change that he experienced through that, just the longevity of independence too. That's so good. So good.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Definitely. Okay, so let's talk real quick about not getting injured and protecting us from ourselves. Do you have any tips that we need to know to stay safe when we're getting started in a program?
Yeah, you just want to start light and learn the movement patterns, how to perform each movement pattern properly, each exercise properly. And then as you increase in weight, of course, you want to take it slow. But the benefit of that whole process is you get injured less. So your body becomes more resilient, your connective tissue, your joints. So as you get into those lower reps down the road, of course you can't jump into them, but once you get into the lower reps of 1 to 5 rep range, power phase, 12 weeks down the road or further, your joints get so much stronger. You rarely ever injure yourself. It's just so much, you have less to worry about in that sense.
Yeah. Yeah. This is something that I think that, I have teenagers now and they're athletes, which haven't helped me because I never was an athlete. So it's tough to be a parent of teen athletes when you don't have that skill. But this is something that I see happening, is that they want to push. They want to push themselves, and they want to do it all. And then injuries happen. And I think that, it's something that we have to learn early on. Take it slow. Don't push yourself. You don't have to do all the reps in one day, right? I really love this message, and that you're helping people to do this the right way so that they are able to do it for a long time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And that's good that they're starting at such a young age.
I know. It's fantastic. It really is. I wish that I would have been that person. I just never was.
That's okay. It's never too late.
That's right. Yeah. It's never too late to be healthy, for sure. I just don't have the athletic gene. Throw a ball at me, I'm going to duck, is what I'm saying. So, okay. So tell me what you're doing to really spread your message and to draw people into your world. How are you finding people to work with?
Right now, just organically. And then I am just starting to get into the weekly content to provide value and also, awareness, and find my target demographic. But then eventually the next step would be running ads once I have everything put together. But right now, just, taking it slow for sure.
Yeah. Well, I love conversations like this. I think that's a great way to step into the spreading of the message in the online world and leveraging other people's audiences. So continue doing that. I think that's awesome. Where do you want to grow this from here? What are you hoping to build it into?
Yes. So the brand, it's funny. Short story. I was about 10 years ago in a Starbucks in downtown Los Angeles, and I came up with the name for my fitness brand. And at that time, I wasn't even a trainer. I just had worked out my whole life and saw the gaps in the fitness industry and wanted to kind of fill those gaps. And so I created the name, and I had a general idea of what I wanted, but I had no credibility. And so then I worked to get the credentials to fix my imbalances and also to support the knowledge to put this together. And it's funny because then I also, worked in different gyms, group environments, personal training clients, all of that. And as an athlete, different types of competitions. But my whole point is that I worked to get the credentials on both sides. And over the years, it got clearer and clearer. So the brand is meant to be a holistic fitness brand to fill the gaps in the market. So to be a trusted source of education people can turn towards, because there's so much overwhelming information. Mm-hmm. So basically just guide people into how to make a transition into a healthier lifestyle, how to work out properly, and then providing them a simplified version of functional training. Because CrossFit isn't for everyone, and there's not a simplified version of functional training that's just out there. So provide them an easy way to work out that's effective and efficient. And then the other parts of the brand, which will be community, the courses, platform for courses that are holistic in nature, eventually a hybrid style competition, products. It's a platform for the podcast that I have as well. It's called Excel Beyond Boundaries, to provide a platform for people in the industry to share their fitness journey. So it all comes together.
Yeah, I love it. I think that's fantastic. And really, you mentioned courses and giving that value and having that platform for people to learn. I think that's fantastic. There are a lot of people who are curious and who want to start this. Maybe they're in a place where, I know you mentioned at the beginning, you couldn't afford a personal trainer when you first got started. And that is a great way to give them access to something where they can get started on the path. Maybe they're not ready to work with you one-to-one, but they can access you at that level. So I love what you're doing. I have no doubt that you're going to accomplish it. And it's just great to have you on and to hear your story. For everyone listening, I would love for you to tell them where they can go if they want to connect with you from here.
Yes. they can go to two places. My Instagram, which is jonathan.simos. So JONATHAN.SIMOS. That's my industry Instagram, the fitness industry one. And then the brand that I'm putting together is at newexist.com. So it's NEUXIST.com. And that redirects to the community. And then eventually it'll all be put together.
Perfect. I love it. Well, I'll link everything in the show notes. So if you're listening and you're curious, definitely head to the show notes, grab those links and make that connection. Jonathan, again, thank you for being here. It's been so great having you on the show.
Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that. Nice talking to you.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure. For everyone listening, if you liked this episode, we would love it if you would actually like it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe and share it with someone else so that they can get the value out of the episode as well. And if you'd like to be on the podcast and have a chat like this, we would love to have you. And there's a link in the show notes for that too. Thank you all for listening. We'll see you in the next one.